going on, guys? It's Luke from Fishing Tennessee. Sorry I hadn't had tips lately. This is a tip of the week. Sorry I hadn't had them in a while. Been busy this last week. I've been gone to Kentucky for a little bit. Didn't go fishing. Wish I would have. Wouldn't got any footage though. Didn't bring my camera with me, and mostly just been gone, and then been busy doing other stuff. So I really hadn't had time to put on my videos, but thanks so much for liking and commenting and watching my videos and subbing. Over the past, I think, month, I've had a spike in all my stuff, so I want to thank you guys who supported me and helped me out. Thank you for telling about me and getting me get my name out there and then subbing to me, get me more popular. But today we're going to talk about flipping. Flipping is a technique that is really effective, mostly during the summertime, early in the morning, summertime and fall, winter, sometimes spring. You might do spring. It can be an all-time technique. I use it all the time, but some people just use it in different seasons. But there's different things. There's different baits for different things. First, we're going to start off with the rod and reel, pretty much the stuff that you use. First is I like to use a left-hand retrieve. This is a Bass Pro Shops Extreme. I love this reel for flipping, one of my best flipping reels. Flipping is a real effective thing. I know this because I caught a 5-pounder, biggest fish I ever caught, flipping. So this setup right here, pretty awesome. And a bunch of people think you need real expensive stuff, big baits to catch big bass. Big baits, this is not expensive at all, okay? My flipping reel right here is the Bass Pro Shops Extreme. Left-hand retrieve. It's in a 5.4-to-1 gear ratio. Works just fine for me. A bunch of people like to use a high speed. I mean, it don't matter to me, really. If you're wanting to cover a lot of water, that's when a 7 comes in handy. But this 5 does just fine for me. Doesn't wear me out. And then the line I have is 30-pound Power Pro braid. This braid is the best braid I've ever used. A bunch of people say Spider Wire or companies like that. I recommend this to everybody. Power Pro braid. Best braid I've ever used. And the rod is a Bass Pro Shops Graphite Series. This is my first ever rod. If I can show you. Graphite Series. 6 foot, medium heavy. It isn't heavy. Gotta get a heavy, but this rod is just extremely stiff. So that makes it a really good flipping rod. How it's designed, it's stiff. It really doesn't have a tip on it hardly. It's mostly just backbone. So that's the best thing whenever you're hooking in those big fish. But this is a really good rod and reel setup. The rod and reel by itself is just $80. Reel was $40, got it on sale. Rod's $40. It's $80, and I mean it works just fine. And I don't have to undo it or anything. I had to grease my Extreme. Had no grease on it, so I had to grease it up. It's making a squealing noise whenever I flip, but now it's quiet as a mouse. But I mean, this is awesome. This setup's pretty good. And then right here, I got a Bass Pro Shops. I think it's a bullet weight, a lead bullet weight. A bunch of people like to use a 3/8 ounce. Lowest I go is about a 3/16 ounce. That's what I've got on here right now. And a 4-aught Gamakatsu offset hook. A bunch of people like to use the wide gaps. That's not the case for me. I do not like wide gaps at all. I will use them at times, but I do not like the wide gaps. I was fishing a tournament one time and flipping with a wide gap, 4-aught Gamakatsu wide gap. Had a 4 or 5 pounder on, lost it right at the boat. Just barely stuck it. This sucker right here, this offset hook, I stuck him, that fish, pretty good. I think it's because whenever they grab it, where it bends is where it's so easy for the fish to get hooked through and go around. With the offset, it's a straight thing, and then like a really sharp bend is one of the reasons I think it's so hard to stick the fish real good. So that's one reason why I don't use wide gaps. Which, don't get me wrong, they're good hooks, but it's in my opinion, I do not like wide gaps. Some people love wide gaps. I just do not like wide gaps at all. But that's just my opinion. Alright. Now we're going to go to baits. In your baits, it's real simple. Go from big baits like your Berkley Havoc Pit Boss. I got these in 5-inch, pretty big. Right here, Berkley Havoc Pit Boss. This is a great bait. But the only thing is, it's not my favorite flipping bait. Everybody loves to use a Pit Boss. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I mean, this bait has phenomenal action in the water, and it's great and all, but I mean, it's just so big that I like flipping it at times, but there's other baits that I would rather flip than this, and I can catch quality and more fish off of that, off the other baits, than this one right here. It may be because I got this one too big, it's in the 5-inch, or it may just be the bait. I'm pretty sure it's probably in the length. I need to get me some 4-inchers. But anyway, the Berkley Havoc, this bait is good. It's just, I like other baits better. And I know Bass Turds out there likes the Havoc Pit Boss. I'm not putting anybody down that likes them, but it's just my opinion. I like other baits to flip better than the Pit Boss, which I might get me some 4-inchers and change my mind. I mean, it's just opinion. And then you want your bigger baits, and then your smaller profile baits, like your little 5 to 4-inch Rage Craws right here, and then your other like 4-inchers in the Ultra Vibe Zoom Craw. And then now, a bunch of people like to flip the Pit Boss. If you guys have never flipped this bait before, you need to try it. This bait, I mean, it is an absolute beast down here where I live. If any of you live in Tennessee, fish the Lake Cordell, pick you up some of these and flip them. I guarantee you will catch some fish. I mean, this is a phenomenal bait. Zoom, brush hog, and watermelon seed. Alright. I caught my big fish on this brush hog right here. I mean, not this exact brush hog, but a brush hog. I mean, just look at that. I love flipping those, and that's one of your big baits too. But it's slimmer, but longer. But the thing is, it's not as chunky. So these two things are your bigger baits. I love to flip big baits. So like your Pit Boss or your brush hog, that's mostly my two main flipping baits. But when they're picking up crawdads and things like that, smaller crawdads, I'm going to pull out a Rage Craw or a Ultra Vibe Craw. When they're not picking up these big baits like they usually do, I'm going to go to something smaller profile. And then, something else you can flip. I like flipping the 8-inch, but 6-inch you can flip them too. The 6-inch Zoom, listen. I love flipping these things. I mean, I catch a lot of fish off this. These baits are phenomenal, and these are the baits that you really need to have. Now, these are your baits that you only need 5 baits for flipping. You need 2 big ones, different profiles, alright? A brush hog and a Pit Boss, sort of a big crawdad, alright? And then your smaller crawdads. And then a lizard. And you can flip a brush hog too, a baby brush hog, forgot to put that in. Flip a baby brush hog is just as great. But these are my 5 baits when I'm flipping. These are my 5 go-to baits. This one's sort of an extra just in case I ever need it. These 4 are my main baits that I flip with. These are some of the best baits you will ever find. But if you're new to flipping, you don't know what to flip, you're flipping dirty water, go out and pick you up some watermelon seed, green pumpkin, go out there and pick you up some Rage Tail, Rage Craw, Zoom, Ultra Vibe Speed Craw, brush hog, watermelon seed, and then watermelon, Pit Boss. Go pick up some of these Pit Bosses and some brush hogs. I guarantee you won't go wrong with that. Alright guys, thanks for watching this tip of the week. We'll see you guys later.